In the 1990s, it was the king of storage. A single disk held 100 megabytes, an unimaginable amount at the time. They called it the super floppy. Promised to free us from piles of disks and open the door to the digital future. But just as quickly as it rose, it fell. This is the untold story of the zip drive, when 100 megabytes felt infinite. In the 1980s and early 1990s, the floppy disk reigned supreme. But technology was changing fast. Digital images, software, and office files were ballooning in size. A standard floppy with just 1.44 megabytes of space could barely hold a single photo, let alone an entire software program. To install something like Adobe Photoshop, you needed a box full of floppies. And so, the search began for a bigger, faster, and more reliable way to store data. Several contenders appeared: SyQuest drives, magneto-optical disks, but most were too expensive or too fragile. What the world needed was a simple, affordable solution that felt familiar, but with supercharged power. In 1994, a small company named Iomega unveiled their answer: the zip drive. It looked and felt like a floppy, but bigger, sturdier, and capable of storing a mind-blowing 100 megabytes on a single disk. For comparison, you'd need nearly 70 floppies to match one zip disk. And people loved it. Designers, offices, and schools quickly adopted the drive. It was faster, more reliable, and just futuristic enough to feel exciting. Ads proclaimed it the end of the floppy era. And for a few short years, the zip drive really did feel unstoppable. By the mid-1990s, the zip drive had become a status symbol in offices and classrooms. Blue plastic discs stacked neatly on desks. Graphic designers traded projects on them. Students carried assignments to computer labs. And when Iomega released larger versions, 250 megabytes and later 750 megabytes, it seemed like the future was limitless. Magazines dubbed it the super floppy, and for a moment, it was hard to imagine a world without it. But even at its peak, trouble was brewing. The drives were expensive compared to CDs. And then came the infamous click of death. A flaw in the drives caused them to malfunction, making a repetitive clicking noise, and sometimes destroying the data on the disk. For users who trusted the zip for business or design projects, it was devastating. At the same time, CDRs were falling in price. Suddenly you could burn 650 megabytes onto a single shiny disk for less than the cost of one zip disk. And just as the zip drive was trying to fight back, another revolution was on the horizon. The USB flash drive. Tiny, portable, practically indestructible, and with storage that quickly surpassed the zip's limits. The super floppy had met its match. By the early 2000s, the zip drive was fading fast. What had once felt infinite now seemed laughably small. And yet, the zip drive holds a special place in tech history. It represented the last great leap of removable magnetic storage before the digital world exploded into CDs, DVDs, and flash memory. Today, collectors and retro computing fans still treasure the hum and whir of a zip drive booting up. It may be obsolete, but for those who lived through it, that blue disc was a symbol of possibility. The zip drive promised us infinity, but like so many icons of technology, its moment passed too quickly. This was obsolete yet iconic. Subscribe and join us next time as we uncover another forgotten machine that once defined the future.